It's looking like Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz will actually take place later in the year than expected. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Now, there were rumors earlier, a couple months ago, that Wilder was going to face Luis Ortiz, and it could happen as early as September. But it's now looking like, with that September date encroaching and rapidly coming, it's looking like it's going to take place a little bit later than that, which is right around November of this year. I actually think that lines up better for the heavyweight division. Obviously, there's no official announcement. I think PBC and Al Heyman are trying to put it all together. I think a couple things came into play. Running out of time. I think they're trying to stage Errol Spence versus Sean Porter, and they're looking at the different options. So, you know, I think if it does happen in November, I think it's actually better. One, Canelo is probably going to face someone in September. You know, there's a lot of stuff in boxing that's just in limbo. Like Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua, we're waiting for an official announcement. It's been 5-6 weeks probably since the rematch was triggered. We have Canelo, who's supposed to be fighting the second week of September, and we haven't heard from him. Errol Spence versus Sean Porter hasn't been officially announced. You also have Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz. He kind of announced it during Joshua Ruiz fight week, you know, the first week of June, right around there. And, you know, we haven't heard. So I think they're pushing it back for a couple different reasons, staging other fights. They'll probably use Pacquiao Thurman, which is a big fight, to maybe announce one of these fights, either Sean Porter and Errol Spence, make it official on that date. I mean, that makes all the sense in the world. Why not? If you have a welterweight fight that everyone's checking for, Pacquiao and Thurman, why not announce another big welterweight fight like Sean Porter, Errol Spence, or even Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz, even though that's in a different division, in the heavyweight division, is still part of the PBC imprint. So I actually like Wilder happening in versus Ortiz in November. I actually hope it happens in Los Angeles, where they were talking about it. You know, me being on the West Coast, but I think it's a good fight. The reason I like it in November is because now between Tyson Fury, he's supposed to fight in October, maybe November. You have Andy Ruiz supposed to fight in November, December. So you're going to have the big three, or big four, I guess you could say, with Andy Ruiz upsetting Anthony Joshua. You're going to have it all happening between October and December. So to close out the year, the heavyweight division is going to be lit. You know, this weekend we have Oscar Rivas versus Dillian White. And then, you know, to close out the last 3 months, you have Tyson Fury versus whoever he ends up fighting, Gerald Big Baby Miller, Trevor Bryan. You're going to have Wilder, Ortiz, and then you have the Andy Ruiz Jr. Joshua rematch. So I like that time frame better than if it were to happen in September. And then they could probably space it out more with the Errol Spence Porter fight and maybe some of the other fights that are announced late for this particular year. So I like what that means. Personally, I think it's a difficult fight for both fighters. Even though Wilder got a taste of the best of Luis Ortiz, he's still a dangerous foe. Nobody else is trying to fight him outside of Wilder. And what I mean by nobody, I'm not talking about like the Christian Hammers. When I'm saying nobody, I'm referring to the people with a big name, a brand, up-and-comers, something to really lose. You know, like a lot of stature, you know, an A-side leverage. Nobody like that has stepped up to the plate outside of Wilder to fight Luis Ortiz. And Wilder showed you that he's beatable because he beat him. And yet and still, you had nobody who stepped up to the plate in that way to face off with Luis Ortiz. So I don't want to hear it. I think Wilder Ortiz 2 is a good fight. And it's going to help shape the division. And it should be the last fight before we get Wilder Fury. However, speaking of Wilder Fury 2, I don't know. This could be another. I'm just playing devil's advocate because I actually don't know in this situation. But another thing I was thinking of is they might be postponing like Wilder Fury, meaning not jumping into a contract with Fury. They were down to, but now that Andy Ruiz has beaten Joshua, if Ruiz wins again, then all the belts are going to be with PBC, so they can easily set up an undisputed fight. If Joshua loses again to Andy Ruiz, they could set up something, and they don't even need Tyson Fury, and this would be the ultimate karma, because Tyson Fury actually had an opportunity earlier in the year to rematch Deontay Wilder, and he bailed, and he went over to ESPN and Top Rank, who had a brand new party, and they had their own like directives and priorities, and it wasn't to rematch Deontay Wilder straight away. They wanted to build him up and gain his confidence back and allow him to get his bearings back and things like that. So I'm okay with the Wilder Fury 2 happening. However, if Andy Ruiz beats Joshua again and Wilder waits and doesn't jump into a rematch with Tyson Fury to opt for undisputed, if Andy Ruiz could beat Joshua again, then that's a big fight, and I'm good with that. And Tyson Fury is only going to have himself to blame, because again, he could have fought Wilder already. He could have fought him earlier this year, but he chose to skip town and go to ESPN and fight Tom Schwartz and stuff like that. So, it's going to be interesting. I don't know if Wilder Fury is already a contracted thing where he has no choice but to fight him, but that's just something I was thinking about. And that Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz is going to be an important fight for the division, because we're going to see who keeps those belts. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We working.